Alistair, in Australia, there's been a noticeable increase in the price of silver over the last 2 to 3 months. We have now been advised that the spread between spot and retail will also increase due to the lack of supply. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, this doesn't surprise me. Bear in mind that according to the Silver Institute, silver has been in supply deficit for each of the last 5 years. And the situation in this year has been no different. I think what has happened behind the scenes is that in the past, China has been happy to supply silver into the global market. And I detect a change in that policy. You could probably add into it the US Geographical Services recommending to the US government that they should regard silver as a critical mineral. Now, for them to do that rather suggests that they see supply disruption from their, if you like, industry sources. So, yeah, I think what's going on in silver, from even just from an industrial point of view, is not that surprising. But on top of that, as the growing realization that the fiat currency system is in deep trouble, and perhaps when the debt bubble, come credit bubble, implodes, that's going to undermine the entire monetary system. So under those circumstances, the monetary element, if you like, in silver is bound to return. And with the gold to silver ratio currently standing at 83 to 84, obviously there is substantial room for silver to outperform gold.
Well,
And I would also argue that the retail market is likely to view silver as the cheap way into gold. I mean, if you've missed gold, and gold is now over $4,000, or I don't know what it is in Australia.
at 6.5.
6.5.
Yep.
You've watched it go up and you think you've missed the boat. So what do? You go for silver.
Yeah.
So I think that is going to put further strains on the supply and demand situation for silver.
Yeah.
And I think we also should recognize that a rising price in silver is going to create more demand and not supply, because anyone who's got silver is going to hang on to it, because these are industrial entities. What we're looking at is a loss of liquidity in the markets. And today, which is Tuesday, we look at the backwardation between London spot and COMEX. And even though on a day when the silver price is falling by roughly 3%, that backwardation is still there. It's about $1.30. Now, this might not be quite enough to encourage owners of silver in the COMEX vaulting system to ship some silver over to London. But, this shortage is still persisting. And, of course, the bullion banks have an interest in trying to get the silver price down to try and shake out this very difficult situation for them. Because with no liquidity in London, and let's face it, fairly limited liquidity in COMEX, because if you look at the COMEX stocks, a lot of that is now held by individuals who are hoarding silver. It's just they haven't taken it out of the system, because where do you take your silver? If you've got, let's say, 3 or 4 tons of silver, you're going to leave it in the COMEX warehouses. Mm-hmm. So the whole situation is actually become extremely illiquid. And when you get something that's illiquid, you could see very substantial moves upwards in the commodity price, in this case, silver. So, yes, in a nutshell, I think that the retail market, they're going to have to pay an increasing premium over spot in order to get any meaningful quantities of silver.